And welcome to Modern Toy Fair's end of the year top 10 Festivus special. I am your host, Mr. Modern Toy Fair, and I am joined by the founder of the NEC Illuminati, the YouTube wife, Mrs. Modern Toy Fair, the one, the only, Jarmar _ games. But that's not all. I am also joined by the man Modern Toy Fair has full custody over, one of the former hosts of the Figuratively Speaking podcast, the man Optimus Prime popped, and he still refuses to stop, Nate. How are you guys this week?
I'm awesome.
I'm doing good.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Hanukkah.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Kwanzaa,
25th December.
Yeah.
Happy
whatever you
Festivus for the
celebrate.
rest of us. Merry
Yeah.
Kwanzaa, right? That's how it's pronounced, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
I've never met anyone who
Is that
celebrates
tomorrow?
it, so I don't know.
Well, you have, and I am really upset that you haven't included it. No, I don't, but I probably.
First off, last year
I don't
I
know,
literally
maybe I
listed off
should.
all
I
the
don't know.
holidays in the intro, and I was like, I'm not doing that this year. That's way too much effort.
Oh, so you regressed. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Festivus special for a reason.
Regressor. That's your name.
That's
That's
funny.
actually a good name. Yeah, so I'm in a good mood. You guys in a good mood?
Yeah, I mean,
I am, yeah.
It's the day after Christmas. Spoilers for anyone who doesn't think we record these live.
What do you mean? It's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. A holiday sweater. We've got a onesie and a Santa hat. We're good to go. Not to mention
My PJs.
all of the red and green throughout the layout that I spent so much time changing for this one episode a year because this is what I do. But if you are new to the show and you didn't catch the Festivus special last year, one, go check it out. And two, the way it works is we go through our personal top 10 figures of 2021. The only rules we have is it had to have released and been shipped into the US in the year 2021. And it has to be an action figure. I mean, we don't have to own it or anything like that. Nothing, no special rules, but it's pretty simple. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I kicked off the top 5 worst figures of 2021. So I think it's only fair Jamar gets to kick off the top 10.
Fitting.
So, Jamar, let's get it started with your number 10 spot.
All right, but before I do that, I did want to bring to the table some controversy I feel like I have with the list itself. And us being toy collectors, we buy all kind of things, all great toys, right? Sometimes they don't come out in this year. Sometimes they come out last year. Sometimes they came out in the 80s because we like retro toys. And I would like to just put my bid in for next year, 2022 festive, to include retro figures as well.
Or we could just, for the year?
Yes, I think it should include retro figures as well. It's top 10 figures that we purchased in
No, it's not.
2022.
It's not. That's
No,
not,
I
that's
know.
not what this is.
That's what.
So
I know. That's what I'm contesting. I think it should be included.
I'm going to meet you in the middle. How's this sound? Since almost every Wednesday, live on Twitch, we do our Wednesday night weekly purchases. Next year, on one of the last Wednesdays of the year, we will get together and we will do our top 10 purchases of the year.
Okay, I'll take it. I just feel like we should have some representation of our retro figures. I know the illustrious bearded one, Nate, bought some amazing Motu figures that were retro, and I just feel like those should be included into the roundup. But
that's perfectly
I'll take
fair.
that. I'll take that.
And I'll tell you, just as kind of to piggyback onto that, because we missed the Wednesday night purchases over the last couple of weeks, I picked up some very interesting vintage figures this week for the first time. So I'll have to show those off. And then who knows, maybe they'll show up at the end of the year on my top 10 favorite purchases of the year. Oh, everything just went shaky.
Yeah,
I don't even know what I hit.
I don't know what's going on. It's getting a little weird. Maybe Discord's
Earthquake.
Yeah.
I don't see any shaky on my side.
Oh, mine was digitally shaky.
Well,
like Discord freaked out for a second there.
Well, it somehow affected one of my figures because it started wavering.
It's like Jumanji.
The Matrix. So yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that offer in the middle there. I'll take that. I just wanted to throw that out there. Retro figures need love too. So first on my list, and no, my top 10, honestly, I don't feel like is any significant order except for like maybe 1 through maybe actually just 1 and 2 are like the most important as far as order wise goes. But for number 10, for all good sakes, my number 10 here is the Ironheart by Marvel Legends. I actually have this.
Yeah.
A little insider joke here. Red is one of the worst colors to have on camera, so now I have a red hat and a red figure. Sorry, Michael. But yeah, this one to me was really, really important, just as most of my figures that I purchased, because the comic was so good for me. It was one of those things I just randomly started reading, just off of like I guess technically like hey, you should check this out. So I started reading. I really enjoyed the series, and I thought, oh my god, are we gonna get more Riri and see like MCU and all those good things? And I thought I was gonna have to wait until then to get a figure, but we got a comic style Riri Williams, which I'm really excited for, and I really love, and I hope that we get more to come from Ironheart. But yeah, I also don't really collect any Tony Stark figures like Iron Man, so like this is kind of like a little.
That's
bit
your
of
Iron
both.
Man.
It's my Iron Man. It's my Iron Heart. So yeah, that's my number 10. No big, love letter for it. I just really like the figure for its representation. It's really cool too, and I like that it came without the helmet, because that was like a really, really good touch.
Yeah, I feel like without the helmet is the much better look, because her helmet just, I don't know, looking at the picture, it just looks sort of weird because of the like sharp angles and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's the angle too if front on it doesn't look as funky, but I mean that hairstyle.
True. I mean,
it's really good, really, really good. But yeah, so that's my number 10.
Yeah, and I also love the little smoke effects she came with, because you sent them to me.
Oh yeah, well, you love the smoke effect.
Oh, I do.
I had this figure, and then in my ultimate Marvel Legends bailout, it did not meet the criteria, but it was no offense against the figure itself. I just wasn't going to keep that into the Marvel universe. So
she wasn't a Spider-Man or a Wolverine, so she got booted.
Right. Exactly. So that would be my 2 cents on it. But it was cool. It was a cool figure, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, they definitely did a great job. So that means Nate, you are next. What is your top number 10?
Yeah. So I mean, much like Jarmar, my order is really until you get to the very top. These are all my favorite figures of the year. Now, I instilled a little bit more rules onto me. We didn't have these rules, but because I get so many different things, I wanted to include like really just one figure out of the lines that I collect for the most part. So, mine, I kind of took like my favorite of the year of that particular line.
Plus, you actually buy a lot more different lines than we do.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to kind of do that a little bit more. So my number 10 is my G.I. Joe classified pick. So this was a tough one, but then also not tough at the same time, because there wasn't a ton of classified figures this year. There was a lot announced, but only so many shipped this year. I think everyone's favorite was probably the exclusive Zartan. Full disclosure, I ordered it, never opened it, and sold it. I bought them because I could. I sold it for retail, so I mean, it wasn't like I was trying to make money. I got it, and I decided, you know what, I don't need multiple versions of the same character, even though this one is supposedly better. Let someone else who didn't get a chance to have it. So I ended up not keeping it. So, but I have to say then my favorite this year was the Commando Snake Eyes. So this is the one that came in his Commando look, his original look, but it also came with Timber the Wolf, which was just an awesome accessory pack in, fully articulated figure with multiple faces, little 2 faces for Timber, but still, so really awesome guns that came in there. So it came with like 4 or 5 guns that have now since been dispatched to other members of the Joe team, but I do have Snake Eyes with his trusty awesome Uzi. So this was my favorite in that. So yeah, Snake Eyes leads off at number 10 for my favorite G.I. Joe classified.
I'm also kind of surprised that G.I. Joe was designated to number 10, because I feel like that's one of the lines you're more excited for more often than not.
It is, but honestly, I think this year the only thing that got released were the 2 Target exclusive Barbecue and Major Blood, and I think Lady J and Flint. So there really wasn't a ton of figures that hit this year, and then the Snake Eyes movie figures. But let's be honest here, they're okay, but so yeah, that's probably why. I mean, next year it's going to be tougher with all the ones that are coming out in 2022. So I am looking forward to those.
Awesome. So then, did the weapons get designated to other people just because all the other GI Joes came with like weird Nerf gun, space guns?
Yeah, yeah. Since that's the route
Oh,
that they're going to be taking is the more realistic looks now. I didn't want the Nerf guns to be sticking out as much. A few of them had like Roadblock. There was no other gun to give him, but I also, and hopefully we'll see this on a future Wednesday night purchases streaming on Twitch every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I am getting the Valaverse action or the Vala Action Force accessory kits.
Okay.
So whenever those come into Big Bad Toy Store, I think there was 3 of those that are coming with multiple, weapons and stuff. So we'll see how those will get dispersed as well.
That'll be awesome. I also love the wolf. Like you know this. Anytime you give me some sort of weird accessory like that, I'm all in.
Yeah,
I pre-ordered the alligator guy. I don't give a shit. I want an
yeah,
alligator.
yeah.
it's just crazy to see articulation on the wolf. Like
Right? Like
normally
yeah,
you just get straight arms for like any little pet.
yeah. Usually you get either just like they move at the shoulders, or it's like
Yeah.
just a statue that you'd get at a craft store, like one of those
Right.
figurines.
yeah. Crocmaster's really going to have to suck to not end up on this list next year
Yeah,
because
especially he's
he's
gonna probably end up on
probably
my list just because that fucking
yeah,
crocodile.
yeah.
All right. So I didn't put as many rules in my top 10 just because I don't collect a lot of different lines at this point. I try to keep it as tight as possible because 1, space, and 2, funds. So for me, it was a little harder to do just because I there were so many good figures this year that I'm like, oh, I like that, but oh, I also like that, and I really had to kind of pick and choose, and I also didn't want it to just be straight up one. Like I didn't want them all to be Mezco or Mafex or this or that. So oddly enough, my top 10, my number 10 is he came in a 2-pack, but I don't recognize the other figure as part of it, and that is my Marvel Legends Jon Favreau figure. I absolutely love this figure. It just the likeness is perfect. I always now, for whatever reason, like whenever I do size comparisons in the reviews, and I'm like, well, people want a Marvel Legends because that's one of the most popular lines out there. Well, he's my new Marvel Legends stand-in. Like this is how they compare size-wise to Jon Favreau.
Yeah, I mean, that almost got put on my list just because of the hilarious nature of it. I feel like for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to dig him out of there, so I was like, yeah, I'll just leave.
I'll see. I didn't bother bringing all mine and putting them up here because that's just I don't have room. I'd be knocking stuff over while trying to run the show, and it would just be a bigger dumpster fire than usual.
I will the show going. I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. I will say, like, part of me wants to just take pictures, like get like a little like frame to sit on a table and fill it with like sand, and then get some Mandalorian figures and just like some cameras and have him like direct in the show. Take pictures of it, because I feel like that would just be the coolest use of this figure.
Yeah, that was literally my reasoning for hunting for it. When it was on sale, is I just needed him to be right there in the background with the Manda holding little Grogu.
Yeah, that was another thing, is the fact that he got clearanced out so quickly, and then actually did get clearanced at my store after waiting a couple weeks after everyone else's went. So I was like, yeah, for that price, I can't pass it up. It's too cool. All right, so we are back around to Jarmar. Let's see if you remember what your number 9 is.
Oh yeah, I just pulled it back up here. So I did a couple things. I wanted to mix my list up, of course, and not just stick it to things that I purchased. But some of these items down here, which actually are the next 2, are things that I really struggled not to purchase this year. And part of it was funds, and the running joke of 2021 is bought out. So I was trying to downsize a little bit of purchases as well. But
I was expecting that to be your number 1 purchase. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I couldn't fit it all in frame, so that's why I had to find.
And it technically is an action figure, so it doesn't qualify.
But it's a Barbie dream house, essentially. So all my figures live in it right now.
So wait, Jamar, are you a Barbie girl in a Barbie world?
Yeah. Well, no, Kristen is. I'm Ken.
Oh.
much like Mafex figures.
You're the deadweight boyfriend who doesn't have a job and just hangs out with his bros surfing.
That is very true. I am known as a big surfer, but not like my number 9 pick. I struggled so hard to not do the black and white Mr. or the Frankenstein's monster because it is, it just looks so good in photos, and I imagine it would look amazing with the cover and like the box. Like I just want this figure so bad, but part of it is I don't want to go down the road of like, okay, well now I have to get all the monsters. Well, some are in color, so I want them all in black and white, and the whole thing. So that was part of the reason why I just slightly avoided getting it. But it was one that just made me struggle every time I would see like it pop up on Big Bad Toy Store. I seen it in the store, and I'm like, God, I really want this. But the detailing on this, like NECA just knocked it out of the park. And I mean, I haven't seen it in person, so I can't fully like judge it from that. But like, it just blows my mind that it's not like a $60 figure because of like the detailing on it. But that may be different. I may have a different opinion if you actually own the figure, but just in pictures and everything, it's a great.
I don't have the black and white. I have the color, but I can say the figure is great. It's probably would have been my runner-up as far as NECA goes for this year. So I ended up choosing another NECA figure, but this one was really good. The only thing that really irks me about it, I guess, it's not the figure's fault, but just like you just said, some are coming out in black and white, some are coming out in color. So I just went ahead and was like, all right, fine. I'm going to get the Frankenstein monster in color because that's going to be the one thing that they're all going to be. And so far, that's the only one that's actually come out. But they have then since announced a black and white variation for every figure they've announced thus far. So now I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, because I would much rather have the black and white Wolfman than the color Wolfman.
Yeah.
The Mummy doesn't really look that much different. And really, Frankenstein's monster doesn't change that much between color and black and white because his colors are very muted.
Yeah.
But I'm still just like, come on. But the figure is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I do have it. He is somewhere. He's actually right there. I don't know if you can see him very well, but he's standing in front of Cap. I love the figure. It looks great. I did decide to go black and white, even if I was only gonna be able to get some of them, just because I figured, what supply and demand. The people are gonna demand the black and white, and they're gonna break down because reuse. It'd be stupid not to. We just have to fucking spray paint it gray instead of whatever skin tone it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, why not? So I'm very happy that, like you said, so far everyone they've announced, they've re-announced in black and white as well. Even if the differences are just very, very small, I feel like that's just the true way to have them based on like
especially
the
if you have
releases.
all of them.
Yeah,
especially having all of them side by side, knowing that would be my only. Well, no, I guess never mind. I was gonna say my only question is they all do have the movie poster, right? Like for the cover.
Yeah, they have different variations of it. Because I think the one for the color version and the black and white version of Frankenstein's monster is different. I think the black and white has the like red like outline of the face versus I think the color one has a different like a full body. I think, if I remember correctly.
I actually don't remember, which is weird because that's the one I have. But yeah,
I saw it was dramatically different.
All being,
like,
same. Yeah, that's my number 9. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad that he was on your list because he was going to be on my list until I'm like, oh, thank God Jarmar picked him so I can open up a spot for something else. All right. Let's hear your number 9.
All right. So my number 9 is my Star Wars Black series selection of the year. Interestingly enough, it felt like there was a lot of Star Wars releases this year, but really looking back on it, there was only a few regular waves of Black Series figures. There was a lot of re-releases, a lot of repackages, recolors, whatnot, exclusives, that sort of thing. There were a lot of really cool figures, and I think we're getting to one of them later. But it was wild because I was like, I don't know what to pick for my Star Wars. And then lo and behold, about a week ago, one arrived in the mail and it won. It's a last minute introduction entry, but it is the Fennec Shand from The Mandalorian, or Book of Boba Fett, however you want to do it. And I put the helmet on initially just to show you how cool it looks with it on. But at the same time, the head sculpt is so good, it's probably never going to go back on again. So.
Oh, yeah, it does look really good in person.
Yeah. Yeah. She looks amazing. The hair looks really good. The braid is awesome. The weapon, the whole outfit. I mean, it's great. That's the one thing I love is when they can, get new, interesting characters in there. Now, granted, we saw her, I don't know, 2 years ago initially, and we're just now getting her, but at least we got her. And
makes sense,
she's
though,
not
to
been
hold off until Book of Boba Fett because that's when she's gonna become a little more prominent.
Yeah, it would also be great to release a proper Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett too, but that's not coming out until next year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Fennec Shand, my selection for Black Series.
Black Series. I like that the helmet is like actually like over top of the head skull instead of like you taking. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's even got the little gap so her eyes can peek out and that sort of thing. Cool. So, yeah.
That's really cool.
I also like that with the helmet on, it doesn't look too big. So a lot of the figures, when they do that, it looks either the head comes out too small or the helmet makes it look massive.
Yep. So I'll probably just end up having her hold it.
Right. That actually makes a lot of sense.
There you go.
Yeah. So.
So do we think that they're going to do a full throne playset with Book of Boba Fett like Hot Toys is?
I would think, but I don't know. Maybe he only sits on it that one scene at the end of The Mandalorian, so maybe it won't be. I don't know. Yeah. If it shows up in the show, that they need to.
I mean, I feel like one scene is all you need.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Jarmar?
That's true too.
Oh, I said maybe just be like a con exclusive or something.
True.
Like give them a reason to do a whole set and make it like exclusive,
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, with Boba Fett, that was pretty much what he was for a while. He was just a couple scenes and a couple movies, and he turned it into this huge popular character that everybody loved. So it would be pretty on brand to be like, oh, he has one scene on that throne, but we're gonna make a fucking action figure for it.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to my number 9. Now mine, I'm honestly surprised isn't on Nate's list, but knowing his new roles that he set up for himself, it makes a little more sense. Because this figure, by no means, is an incredible figure. It's more so just the fact that we got it that is why I like it so much, and that is the Super 7 Papa 1 Ghost figure. Nate, when we first started showing up on our lovely little channel here, he insisted that I listen to some of their songs, and he sent me some YouTube videos of some of their concerts and stuff, and I just fell in love with it. And then Super 7 was like, hey, you know how we do reaction figures of this? Well, now we're doing an actual ultimate action figure of it. And I'm like, all right, I'm in, let's do it. And it showed up, and it's really cool. It has limitations, but realistically, for what it is, I wouldn't expect him to be able to do any weird Spider-Man or comic book poses anyway. So I'm all for it. I do feel like they did a pretty good job of capturing just the general look and aesthetic of it, and I can't wait to see if they do more of the Papas as we go along.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so. The reason it's not on my list is because I haven't opened it yet.
Oh, really?
And because I got them, my wife kind of ganked them before I really could get a chance to, and even though I bought one for me, one for her, she took them both, and I just haven't really gotten a chance to get it back yet. So I kind of, more than anything, I kind of forgot about it.
Oh, wow.
And that's just because I haven't gotten a chance to mess around with it. So.
Did she take them both so that way she can do one in the black and red and one in the gold and white?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out justification for why she stole yours if she had her own, but
yeah, she doesn't need
just because
she just does it.
Just because.
Okay.
Just because.
That's just what marriage is. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
What's mine is yours.
Exactly.
No, so I don't, outside of our, what was it called? Modern Toy Fair Day Out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Modern Toy Fair Day Out. Yeah. I wasn't sure what you were talking about because there was a lot of ways that sentence could have gone.
I forgot what it was called, but that was my only exposure to the figure, and I'm happy that you guys have that. I hope that inspires more musical figures out of like the reactions, because there's been some reaction figures that have come out that I'm like, man, if that was an ultimate, I would buy. So
Right.
hopefully this is a trend. So I'm glad you guys bought it, and either you get more or maybe I'll get something too.
I mean, hey, just spoilers for the fantasy figure
Oh.
line that we created. That's the wrong company you're barking up there, buddy. You chose a different company for your line.
Well, for my reasons, I gave in that point, but this one is probably closer more to a reality than
Oh yeah,
fantasy.
this one 100% you have a better chance
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all for it. All for
Yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah, they've got the license for them for reactions, so I can't imagine it's too hard to be like, hey, can we make it slightly taller and come with more shit and move a little better? And they'd be like, yeah, just give us the money for that
it. More
too.
money.
Yeah,
More
can't imagine any of these estates would be like, nah, fuck you.
yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 9. Jarmar, hit us with your number 8.
Oh. I'm gonna get confused by this eventually because the numbers. I'm like, how?
Yeah,
Okay.
I originally I was like, oh, I should go first, but like, no, I shouldn't because I went first last time, and that's the whole point of like the Modern Toy Fair podcast is we rotate who goes first every
Yeah.
week, and realistically this is standalone, so I shouldn't have cared, but it's too late, so go ahead and hit us with your number 8.
It's fine. I'll figure it out. My brain will work. Another figure for my number 8 is something that I don't own, only sheerly because I stood very stern for a moment in time when this when this figure came out, that I was like, I'm not adding any extra purchases because of, you know, the joke. So
The house.
this, yeah. So this one is the Gunslinger Slinks. I can't even speak. The
Gunsinger?
Gunslinger Spawn. Gunslinger Spawn. Man, that's actually kind of hard. By McFarlane. I tried and tried and tried, like I said, to really keep myself from buying it, and I figured it out. I did it. But it's so badass. It's so cool. Like, honestly, I don't even know like the reference. It was just really cool. I love Spawn, and I just never really gotten to like buying new figures since I've been collecting toys again. And I thought this was going to be my first one for it. And it might change someday. I might end up coming across it in a weird way and pay more than what I need to for it. But this figure is it's just badass. It's Wild West Spawn. Like, it's so cool. So cool. That's all I eat.
So here's the thing: you don't have to wait and like come back to it and overpay for it because they're releasing a second version of it that comes with like a Gatling gun.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store even.
when does this come out?
I want to say
I guess it doesn't
early
matter now
next
because
year.
I'm not in that window anymore. I'm not in the
Um,
window of feeling guilty of new purchases. So
and plus, it's not gonna charge till it comes out anyway because it's Big Bad Toy Store. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes out. I want to say either like somewhere between February and May. I don't remember because it got announced like a month or two ago, and I thought we talked about it, but apparently either you
we
forgot
may
or
have,
I
yeah,
mentioned the conversation.
we may have, and as normal, I forget a lot of things. So
That's fair.
I am currently typing this in right now. It's my left hand, and it's really hard.
Wouldn't
But
be
yeah,
Modern Toy Fair if someone wasn't pre-ordering something on the show.
I just in general, like I said, I really like Fawn back. I can't talk. I really like Spawn back in the day and had like figures and stuff, but I just didn't know where my jumping on point was, and I felt like this is the one. So maybe I might just pre-order it and just throw that in there.
See,
Maybe
now
we
I
can
just
make
want a
the list for
colorful
next year.
like spring variant called Gunsinger Fawn.
With daisies.
Yep.
He goes to all music festivals.
He does, and he's always just super stoned throughout the entire process.
But yeah,
I'm into it.
that's my number 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 8.
I like that figure. I didn't see it either, so I can't really.
For the
too much
record,
on it.
I liked it. Offered to Jamar, he said no, and then got yelled at by someone else for not offering it to them. But then they found it anyway.
No.
And
Okay,
I
well, there you
actually
go.
ran
It
into
wasn't
it a
me.
couple times. Yeah, I ran into it a couple times, so that's why it made the list, because I saw it on multiple occasions and was like, oh, okay, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do it. So you've earned that spot.
All right, Nate. You're up.
All right.
Let's hear number 8.
All right, so mine is I guess it would be my Super Seven selection because I don't have any other Super Sevens on the list. So this is from a particular line, but it also can just work for my overall Super Seven. So last year, so 20, God, what was last year? 2020
2020, yeah.
was
2020.
okay.
I realize
Yeah,
that you're
I don't know
trying.
what year
Everyone's
this
trying
year.
to forget what last year was, but it did happen.
Look, man, I don't even know what this year is. I don't know what next year is. I just know it's
It's a
all
year.
together. Yeah. So I embarked on my first ever line of or my first ever wave of Thundercats last year, and I was really impressed. It was just funny because if you go back and listen to the old modern or not modern Toy Fair, the other show, figuratively speaking, I trashed on Thundercats pretty bad,
Oh yeah.
but the figures were great. So whatever, I'm a hypocrite. It's fine. But this
That
year
and
we,
Transformers,
we
man.
got we got our third wave before we got the second wave, and we only got three figures of it. But one of those was one that was never released previously by Mattel, and I love it. And it is the Super 7 Thundercats Slice. And this dude is just a beefy, awesome henchman of evil. And, even if, such as myself, if you're not super into Thundercats or whatever, these do fit in so nicely with the Masters of the Universe classics. They just have that same feel, and, they're the same size, same company when you consider that, Super 7 made the last few years of Motu Classics. And this guy's it's just so cool looking. I mean, he's
Yeah.
big and awesome. For how big he is, he does have great articulation. I mean, I'm not going to say great, but he has good articulation. So you can get him into poses, not great poses, but poses. But very cool weapons, tail, multiple heads, and he's awesome. And I went with the kind of confused look because that was generally how he looked. But I love this guy. Of the three that we got, he is definitely my favorite. And he was my favorite Super 7 that, one, I remember having, and two, didn't get taken by my wife.
I didn't realize you set so many rules for just Super 7 alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a. Oh, go
No,
ahead.
go
I
ahead.
just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say it's very much more dedication, but also I think, like we said at the top of the show, you have more
Yeah.
more lines.
You
that
collect at
can
least 10
collect.
lines, where I don't think me and Jamar combined collect 10
I
lines.
tried not to make everything NECA. Is what it was. Oh, it was such
Oh man, I will say when you sent me your top 10 list so I could make the graphics, this did kind of catch me off guard because I'm like, oh well, I mean, I guess it is like up his alley. It's weird and it's from the '80s, but it was just not
Yep.
what I was expecting. And I feel real dumb that I looking through your list and like making the graphics that it didn't hit me with, oh, he's got one of like every like brand instead of it being like just in general. So but I
Yeah.
feel like you did that last year too, and I just forgot.
I may have. That sounds like me.
Yeah, 100%. Um, but yeah, it's a really cool figure. I'm not gonna lie. I've debated on getting it solely to get that mace, so I could have a mace for my custom slash that I did for like the realistic IDW custom turtles I've been
okay.
slowly making. Um, but then I'm like, do I want to spend $55 for a mace? Because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to resell that and get my money back. So yeah, the struggle is real. For my number 8, I I didn't quite do what Nate did, but I did try to spread the love out and not keep it as just like 2 lines or 3 lines of figures. So I threw some love at Diamond Select because God knows they don't get a lot of it, and that's just because this figure turned out incredible, and I'm so happy with it and so glad I was able to get it. And that is the Marvel Select Captain America Sam Wilson. This figure, I mean, between the fact that you didn't have to collect all the white people to get his wings, um, and just the general look of him, like his articulation isn't bad by any means. It's definitely not on the level of Marvel Legends, but I visually like he's just gonna sit on my shelf anyway. So I just need him to be able to hit like 1 or 2 poses, and I'd be satisfied, and he's able to. And I think they just fucking knocked it out of the park. I don't think there's another Sam Wilson Captain America figure out there that compares.
Yeah, I'm happy you have that on the list for 2 reasons. One, I forgot, but no, I'm joking. The only reason I didn't put that one on there was just kind of solely because I put it on one of the disappointing lines.
Well, you did
Of
your
just,
Marvel
you know, that
Legends one was on the disappointing one.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. That's what I mean. I wasn't gonna use the other one, so that was part of the gag of it. But yeah, I'm glad it's some representation on the list. Maybe we'll get Mafex one someday.
I'm sure we will. My only fear of Mafex is their like real life head sculpts are very
Yeah,
like
but if
50-50.
it's just mostly mouth and hair.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, yeah, maybe they'll have
you can't
McFarlane
fuck it up.
syndrome, and as long as you don't see the eyes, you're good. Because that seems to be the thing: is if McFarlane can nail that like mouth and chin region, fine. But you go from here up, and it's off. You're fucked. You look like John Cena's stunt double every day, um,
But
or
that's
discount Henry Cavill.
oh god, some other words I'd like
Man.
to use on that Hemi camera. But yeah, discount's not the one that I was looking at. But yeah, I'm happy it's on the list.
Me too.
I've
Also,
never seen it other than you holding it up. I've not seen it in person. Can't say anything. I went the Marvel Legends route on that one. I have issues with Marvel Select. I've bought a few over the years, and I sort of hate them all, to be
Oh.
honest. So
I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie. Like
burn it with fire.
back in the day when Toy Biz originally lost the Marvel Legends line, Hasbro was really shitting the bed with their first few waves. I switched to Select, and I'm like, they look real pretty, but their articulation shit, and they're borderline like a McFarlane figure, and I hated it.
Yep.
So I kind of stopped. Like I think the last one I got was, I want to say when they did the Gambit figure years ago, just because
Hmm.
it was decent, but his because of the way they do the ab crunch, because it's that like rotation like at the ribs instead of being just a normal like back and forth, he seemed to struggle a lot with like hitting certain poses and standing in them, because then he was just so top heavy one way or the other, and it drove me crazy. So it got me out of it. But then I was like, okay, I love the Disney Plus shows, and I do want some MCU representation, but I don't need it. I don't need any like large amount of it. So I feel like I'm only gonna choose like some really big characters or like that had big moments, and this was one of them. I also have Wanda as Scarlet Witch, just because one, I wasn't gonna pay a ridiculous amount for the Marvel Legends one, and two, at that point, the Marvel Legends one wouldn't have scaled with this, so I just went ahead and got the Select one when it went back up for pre-order, and she was okay.
Plus, Wanda was yeah, I was gonna say Marvel Legend Wanda was okay, but it was also a pain in the ass to find too.
Yeah, they
So.
didn't do a great job with her on Select either. Like her costume looks good, her face sculpt is okay. Luckily, I had no intentions of having the hooded head ever on it because she's cross-eyed as fuck. Um, but yeah, so I that's the only reason I went with Select, is just because I don't really with these, since it's going to be such a small section of my collection, I don't need them to be super articulated. I just need them to look pretty, and that's one thing Marvel Select is good at, is making things look pretty. Except for John Wick. Oof, that was
Ah.
yeah. Spoilers for the last episode with the top 5 worst figures of 2021. Um,
Oh.
oh god. So that brings us back around to Jamar. Hit us with number 7.
All right. I was ready for this one. So number 7, although just in the past, like, I don't know how long we've been recording, he almost got kicked off my list because he won't fucking stay in his place that I put him in. But that one is none other than the Game Reverse Miles Morales. Part of this, and I think I know now what you're referring to, Michael, because the surprise. And I won't, spoil things for other people's lists and stuff. But this one got added onto the list partly just because basically it was because I already had like I forgot. That's basically it. I'm trying to
You
go
forgot why he was on your list?
No, I completely forgot about the other thing that
Oh,
we'll
okay.
mention here at a later day, and I was like, God damn it! But yeah. So Miles Morales Game Reverse, the movie, amazing. Miles is having his comeback, and I can't wait for everything else to come in the future, right? But PlayStation 5 game, my God,
Yeah.
really, really good. Very, very close. Not 100% close, but just a different Miles, and that is kind of what clicks with me a little bit, is age difference. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you just watch the YouTube video of the game and you'll get it. You get it. It's a very kind of short game, so play it if you'd like.
Yeah, it's only like
But
5 or 6 hours long. It's not very long.
yeah, but then you gotta have PlayStation and all that stuff. But anyways, so yeah, Game Reverse Miles Morales. It's a great figure. It's annoying that it won't stay in the same pose that I wanted to. The articulation is really great. I like this little ab because I can like give him this like cool like But the problem is when you do this, he's weighted weird and he just keeps falling over. So that's why he almost got kicked off. The only thing I will say negative about it outside of standing is, my God, the head sculpt does not even look like him at all.
Oh my God, yeah, I completely forgot
doesn't
about
make any sense.
adult taxpayer Miles.
It makes no sense that like it was already like a 3D rendered face.
Mm-hmm.
So did they not just get assets for that and try and print it closely? It wasn't like, matching a real face. So I don't know. But yeah, that's my number 6.
7.
7? 7, okay.
Yeah, 7.
I forgot already. Is the theme of the show that we just forgot? Is everything just about what we forgot?
I
a year's a long time.
I haven't forgotten.
A year's a long time.
I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe your memory's a little bit better than ours.
Toys are life.
My memory sucks.
I know,
but
I had a really hard time figuring out what came out this year.
I'm not gonna. I had to double check some because this year just dragged on for so long and also kind of flew by. I had to double check a few of mine to make sure that they came out this year and not last year. So, and I had to double check both of yours to make sure they didn't either, because I was like, wait, that's not right, is it? That was so long ago.
This year and last year just blended together, which is the other part of it too.
Yeah.
So my 10, 9, 8, 7 selection is one that you can probably find on your retail stores right now, maybe even possibly on clearance, but that does not reflect my feelings for it. So this was my representation for Masters of the Universe this year, and that is the Masters of the Universe Masterverse Revelations Skelegod. Now, some of you might be going, "What? That's crazy."
I'm going, that's a mouthful.
I like this figure because it's something different. So, with a lot of the Revelation figures we've gotten, they're just, Revelation versions of characters we've gotten in the past, or in my case, I have them in Vintage, I have them in 2000X, I have them in Classics. But Classics, as we have established, are very pricey and hard to find. So some people are getting these as 7-inch representations, and they're really going after the main characters and such. So this is the first version of anything like this. This is directly based on the Revelation show. This was a central plot point to the 10-episode series. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's well designed. I think it's got a cool look to it. I think it's interesting. But I also understand the criticism. Some people didn't like it, and that's okay. That's the thing. Everybody can like something different. I love Skeletor, and I just liked the idea of seeing something different. I liked the use of the the Havoc staff, the ram head being used in his head as well, the blast effects, him holding the power sword, the H cross on the front is a little weird, but that's he's using the power of He-Man, the power of Grayskull.
Yeah, he's just expressing his love for He-Man.
Yeah, he's a He-Man fan as well. So he's a pretty big figure. He did come out at a deluxe price point, so I think he was $30 when he came out. Like I said, you can probably get him inexpensively. He's been pretty easy to find because he shipped on his own. But if you want a really cool, badass looking monster creature, even if you're not into He-Man, it's a great figure. It's a very cool fantasy looking character. So get it while you still can.
Yeah, I still can't get over just how badass he looks. Like,
yeah,
ever since the figure came out, and I've just seen pictures of people posting from the show, and I just don't understand why someone wouldn't like this. Like, the fact that it's like, oh, Skeletor finally got one up, and now he's this fucking giant, massive, badass. Like, that seems like that'd be like a Masters of the Universe fan, like, wet dream.
Yeah. Now, I will say this as a runner-up, and these arrived after I sent you the list, but I did get the Savage, He-Man, and Orko 2-pack, and oh my god, this Orko, so great, which is not something normally you say. And then the Savage He-Man itself is also awesome looking. So, very happy with these. Just wanted to throw them out there because I have them sitting here.
I also just like the fact that, He-Man goes from this like scrawny little dude to a buff like fucking dude, and then Skeletor's like, I'm already buff, so what do? I just get more buff.
Yep. More buff.
More buff. More beef
It would have been
for
cool if he had
Skeletor.
the opposite effect though.
Oh yeah, he
He
just got
was more
skinny and he
powerful,
became
but he
literally a
was just
skeleton.
small. Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like the fanboys would have been way more pissed at that if he would have gotten like itty bitty and just whooped everyone's ass.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my number 7 is from a line that I out of nowhere started collecting, but I'm only collecting a very very small amount because it's a deep rabbit hole to fall into, and I don't want to do it. It started off just because of the cool ass retro cards and the fact that me and Nate kind of wished them into existence on news one week when we were talking about the weird ass like episode 3 Revenge of the Sith cards that they had back in the day. And that is the Clone Wars Commander Obi-Wan Kenobi, with the retro card of that clone helmet. It's done in that more realistic look, so he looks more like Ewan McGregor versus like the cartoon, which I really liked. I ended up getting 2 because I was like, I got it. I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. I'm like, fuck, I want to open this so bad. So I have a second one, and now they're going to get me again because they're doing the Clone Wars cartoon versions of Mace Windu and of General Grievous. I'm like, all right, I have to get those. I'm going to have to get 2 of each of those too. So it's gonna be a rough year for me in Star Wars already, and those are coming out supposedly in spring, or spring or summer. But let's face it, Hasbro claims that shit comes out a year from now, and then it shows up 6 weeks later. So
Yep.
I don't think it's gonna be that long, especially because I've already seen people posting in hand pictures of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know that the uh, the 2D animation vintage collection ones are starting to hit too,
Mm-hmm.
that were announced around the same time. So yeah, I like this figure a lot too. These were not easy to get in
Oh
any way,
no.
shape, or form. I was so happy that I was able to get you one. I'm glad you got another one to open one. Um, yeah, I love this line. I thought it was a really cool way to do it. I liked most of the 50th anniversary Lucasfilm releases this year. Um, and I thought this one was really well done. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it had in the same set. You had Anakin in his clone armor stuff, and then you also had a couple of the clone troopers. And when I first went out to look for him, all I could find was Anakin and the clone troopers. And like there were people claiming like, oh, they just didn't ship Obi-Wan, but then other people were claiming, oh no, they came in a case of one of each. So it was a hot mess. I got lucky you found me my first one, and then I bit the bullet and found a decent deal. I think I paid like 35 shipped for the second one, so on eBay. So I was like, that's not terrible. I can justify that to have one open on my shelf, especially since we got sexy shirtless Darth Maul. I'm like, well, he's got to have his daddy Obi-Wan to be on the shelf with him. So
mhm.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be said, but I'll say it anyways. It's just the packaging. I love
yes.
seeing this stuff. I love seeing it, even if it's something that I didn't buy. I just like seeing that. So that's cool. And they know what they're doing. They're just
Oh
like
yeah, they know it. They 100% know what they're
right.
doing. They've got their finger deep in our wallets, just twirling it around, having a good time. I'm just waiting for them to eventually to just get me real good, and they're gonna do exactly what me and Nate talked about, and they're gonna bring out the Revenge of the Sith wonky ass packaging with just some shitty re-release of Anakin Skywalker or something, and we're like, God damn it, I have to have it just because like that was the height of my like Star Wars collecting in between like when I started collecting again and when I was a kid. Because kid, I had all the Power of the Force stuff, and then moved on to like video games and stuff for a while, and then teenager when they like the prequels were around, I started collecting them again, and I was just like, oh man, if they do that, it's gonna get me real good. Okay, so Jamar, back to you with number 6 this time.
All right. I had to reach off screen because some things are still in boxes. So this one is still in box, and this is this is an odd one because I didn't necessarily think when I bought this that this would kind of even hit top 10, but then actually getting it even with the initial issues that I had with it, um getting a replacement again from Big Bad Toy Store. I can't believe you guys are so great. I
Right?
had
Best
to
customer
put him on the
service out
list.
there.
Like, so if you could see that reveal, it's Super 7. What is it? What is it? What is it? It is the Metalhead. Um, just mainly because it looks so accurate to like the original Playmate figure that it's just so cool. And it's like a grown-up version, if you will, because it's not super cheap and plasticky looking. It still retains the cool thing with the swappable head, with the glowy eyes, with the light. All the accessories come with it. Of course, you got to have the backpack on there just because it looks so awesome. But yeah, I absolutely adored this Super 7 figure, and it made me go against my rule of like not getting anything but the turtles. And then the Metalhead was like, yeah. It's also funny too because I forgot that I pre-ordered it. So when they started paying, like started getting charged, I was like, ah, shit. But then I got it. I was like, I'm not giving this up. This is so great. So yeah, in the box, can't see anything, but it just comes with all the goodies, and it just goes back to the joke that we were initially saying about how Super 7 was just re-releasing the Playmate line, and we're like, oh my god, these things are so ugly. Like, what are they doing?
Like,
And
we want
then
to talk about Nate on Figuratively
so
Speaking,
wrong.
talking shit about the the Thundercats and Transformers. Me and you took a giant shit on the face of Super 7 until Raphael hit in person, and then we're
Yeah.
like, oh fuck.
Yeah, so
What's
wrong.
even funnier about that is I was a big defender of Super 7, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, they're just larger versions of the vintage ones. What do I need these for? So
it's it's just wild to me. I mean, it's great because it's giving me what I want as like a turtle collector. I'm getting updated versions of the Playmate figures that I have, but also in like a really cool, more articulated way. So I'm 100% for it. I love them, and it's probably like a foreshadowing to, later on my list here.
It's a foreshadowing for both of our lists.
not mine. But the good thing is though, Jamar, you're still with your rule. That is a turtle. I mean,
yeah, that's true. That is true. That is very true.
so just because it's a robot, I mean, robots are people too.
And I mean, it
Robots
makes
are
sense
turtles
depending
too.
on
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
depending on the canon that you go with. I think actually in most renditions of Metalhead, he's made by Donnie, which is the best turtle. So
Hey man, I mean, I did that trade with you to get him, and now he's gonna be the person driving the turtle van. So
I got to see a pose of him like laying on the ground, like lifting the van and then working on it. I feel like that would be pretty cool.
spoilers for my review of Donnie that's gonna be coming out here in the next day or two. There's a picture of him lifting the couch so Donnie can find his PS5 controller.
Oh.
I'm excited for that.
Nice. All right, so my number 6. This is my SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball representation. There was a lot of good Dragon Ball figures released this year.
Yeah.
A lot. They really dove into the Namek saga, which was really cool. We got a lot of the Ginyu Force, depending on how you got them. If you're into premium Bandai, regular releases, the whole shot. But this might seem sort of weird because the figure I picked and the way that I have him is not really that posed. SH Figure Arts known for their posability, but mine is the first form Frieza, and he's in his chair. So
I mean, that's the only way to have him. If you've got him
yeah,
with his legs on, out and about, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. But this thing is just so, I mean, look how expressive. Depending on the version that you prefer to listen to, you can hear this figure. So whether you hear
no matter
the dub,
which version, you can hear both.
Yeah, you hear both. Now mine isn't entirely screen accurate. You will notice that because he's got his scouter on as he is about to destroy Planet Vegeta. But I wanted to do more of an amalgam of the whole thing and really make it an ultimate version. He does come with a really cool little plastic thing that you can set the little chair in to make it float. But this thing is just so cool. And yeah, you do get legs. You do get multiple face plates and a different head depending on the expression. But this to me was the only way that you can pose it, with him just about to bring forth his power, just his little finger version. And But yeah, this is amazing, and
I
I love it.
1000% agree. And as far as concerned, if you don't come into your room and look at that figure and be like, Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs, then you've got him posed wrong.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love everything about that. That's so funny to me. I also like the
It's
tail,
like,
like the way
Right?
like
yeah,
It just
the
droops
the
over.
goes up.
detail, like they do. I
Does
mean,
it?
they
Ah,
sculpted legs and everything, and yeah, you have a place
detail.
to hook up the tail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
awesome.
just that's really cool.
Yeah, they outdid themselves.
And
That
also
release was definitely one of the best figure arts had this year.
Yeah,
another line.
yeah.
Just I just can't do it.
Oh,
I want to
dude,
so bad, but
It's yeah.
I
trust
don't
me.
know where
If
to
you don't
start.
if you don't
I
set
don't
the parameters,
I
it
can't
hurts.
like it's just yeah, it's just
I will say, if you just
I
want one to be your definitive figure, the new Goku
Mhm.
from the Superheroes movie is pretty sweet,
Yep.
and he's only gonna be like $35.
I mean, really, honestly, and if you want to do expand, the four that are coming out, which is Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan, I mean, they're pretty
Mhm.
ultimate versions, and they're all. I mean, I think Piccolo's 39,
Yeah.
but still, when they're I mean, I think this one was 67 or
Mm-hmm.
72 or
yeah,
something
that's
like
it.
that. So, I mean, they are definitely pricey. So, I would definitely recommend those four, any of those four.
Yeah.
The Big Bad Toy Store
Yeah. They're all on Big
or
Bad Toy Store.
Entertainment Earth.
Well,
Yeah,
correction.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think Gohan's up on either right now, because I think he's the one that
Oh,
everyone's
okay.
like losing their shit about. Because I know Big Bad Toy Store crashed because of it, and
Yeah, I had heard about that. That was nuts.
yeah, for like several hours, Big Bad Toy Store was just offline, and they came back online, and Gohan was up for like maybe a couple minutes, and then they took him down. Um, and then now I think it's only is just the other three. Entertainment Earth still has him listed, but I don't think he's available.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. But yeah, you can get Goku and Vegeta right now.
Yeah,
So
Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo should all still be available. The only thing that worries me about the Piccolo
Piccolo's
is
not.
that he's not going to come with his cape, which is concerning. But the
Yeah.
face sculpt looks so much better than the original that I'm kind of
Yeah, but for the price, I get that he's not coming with it.
yeah. Which I mean, realistically, I'm just at this point, I'm just hoping that he's the
I'm
same
just-
shade of green, because if he is, I'm gonna buy me another one of the Proud Namex, pop them arms off, pop the shoes off, pop them on the superhero one, and have a much better Piccolo.
Yeah.
Because that new body sculpt looks great. I just don't like the yellow from the manga. Like, it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
So ironically, my number 6 spot is also for figure arts, and I went a different direction than Nate did. While Frieza is an incredible release, and it did pain me when I decided that I was just gonna do the Boo Saga, because I'm like, oh, Frieza's so good. If they do Form 2 Frieza, I may go back and be like, okay, I'll have one of each form of Frieza, and then that will be my my extension to that role. But mine is the Goku eating scene set,
figures.
because I'm an accessory whore, and this is the shit I need from every company. Give me a fucking
Mhm.
table chairs and a bunch of food and some empty plates,
You're in.
and oh man, I'll stay rock hard for days. Like,
I love this. I love everything about this. So this would have been my runner up as well. This thing was so cool.
yeah, I mean, just the food looks so cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna get a second one just because I'm like, you need more food. Like, I like the idea of having
Mhm.
the empty plates, but at the end of the day, I feel like they just keep bringing him food at that point, especially because
Right.
then Demonical Fit did the Vegeta. They did a Majin Vegeta, but include a base form head that has the like puffed out cheeks like he's eating, and he comes with like a spoon and a chicken leg. So now I've got him and Goku just up here chowing down on my shelf. Um, so, and honestly, with the new figures coming out, I may swap those out if as long as the heads fit. That's my only concern as well, is that the pegs might be different, since they're kind of upgrading the figures, but we'll see. But yeah, everything about this is great. And I may order 2 more just because realistically I want 1 more to have more food for them. But then I kind of want to have 1 to like put with other shit, because it scales really well with Mofex. Like when I first got it and I took pictures and sent them to you guys, I had Deadpool sitting there fucking just having a
Yeah.
drink and enjoying some ramen. So there's so many options, and it's just I need this from every company. NECA, Mezco. I mean, Mezco does it, but not. I mean, they get kind of lazy with it because they just give you unpainted weapons. But Mafex, everybody, if you give me accessory sets, you just, I'll bend over and you just take whatever you want.
I don't know that's how wallets work, but
Yep.
yeah, it's kind of surprising though that you don't see more and more, like especially
Right?
with like bigger lines, like more and more just accessory things. Just throw it on your website. Can it be that bad? You
Yeah.
know?
Because it's not like this was like a limited release where they had it already made. Like you had to pre-order it like everything else. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still in stock in most places. Thank God, because I would hate if I would have to buy two more above retail, but I still would have done it because, hot damn, this is my wet dream for action figures.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Moving on to number 5, Jamar, what you got?
Take us into the top 5, Jarmar.
Oh, I was like,
Did
wait,
you
what
forget
I
what your
do for
top
my
5 was
five?
again?
No, because it was between two things, so I forgot. Top five is also 1 second over. All right, I'm
I
back.
love that you guys
So
came prepared with all your stuff, but I spent a lot of time on these graphics, so you didn't need to.
no, I mean, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Most of it again is all in boxes, so and the other ones are recently purchased. So it's easy to do. So another one on the list from NECA. Surprise, surprise. Oh wait, have I done? Oh shit. Sorry, I haven't. Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
did the
you
black and
did the
white one. I was
NECA
like,
black
wait,
and
did I
white
skip something?
Frankenstein
Okay.
monster. Yeah, you.
So I had to do the Rad Man, another turtle universe figure. I had to do Mondo Gecko. Again, I'll flip this over. First of all, I just love what they're doing with the VHS. You can't see this because
Yeah, your
lighting
light
is
is just like murdering it.
it's so bright. But whatever, you get the point. It has the VHS. This one's volume 5. There's a few others that came out, this year. Wait, was the Crane Droid this year? That was last year, right?
I
I
think
don't
it was
know.
this year.
I think that was last year.
Yeah, it was
Man,
last
I
year.
don't.
Yeah, yeah, it was
It was
towards.
last
It
year.
was in like
We had
November or
the
something.
Ultimate Foot Soldier, and then
Chrome Dome
Chrome Dome. Yeah,
and
there
Pizza
we go.
Monster
That
just
was
started
yeah,
hitting.
Pizza Monster as well.
Yeah,
But
I got him.
initially, I was kind of gonna do like back away from him just because I again try not to go too crazy. But I saw this and it's so rad. Like outside of mainline turtles, of course, one of my there's a few, but one of my favorite figures in every iteration that the turtles have kind of done. Mondo Gecko has always been like there on the list for me. So seeing him in again in the cool like tune, oh my god, I just love it. I love it. That's safe to say? But he comes with the super shredded. Like, oh my god, it's just a great figure. I don't know, like I can't like talk eloquently about it just because this is one that made me really excited that it even exists. So I'll take that as my number 5. Again, in no real order, but I just love this guy. And it wasn't a pain in the ass to find. So I
True.
also
Yeah.
just
Like
throw that
I
up
feel,
even higher for me
I feel
because
bad
that
for NECA
was
because they're borderline becoming peg warmers, but I feel like that's better than how it was.
They're
yeah,
starting to disappear. It's how it should be. It should be
yeah.
easy to find for a couple weeks, and then
Petter
they'll
out.
start to slow down.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. So bringing into my top 5, I like I said, I made some major changes in my Marvel Legends this year, and I am only mostly collecting movie with the occasional Wolverine or Spider Man or something like that. So it was weird because like with MCU, Black Widow stuff released like 2 years ago, even though the movie just came out this year. The Shang-Chi stuff was okay as far as
Yeah.
figures go.
Mm-hmm.
Death Dealer was probably the coolest one, but he was also not a real prominent character.
Yeah.
And then they did release some of those. Forget what the series was called, but they kind of like all throughout the MCU. There were different ones, like they did
The
the
Infinity
Surtur,
Saga.
and they did it. Yeah, there were some great releases in there as well. But I kind of like put the brakes on everything once I realized that this figure and this wave came out this year. Michael Kamen's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure." And I had to go back
Oh
and
yeah.
look. My first posting of this was on February 8th of last year, and I even looked on Amazon, and the official release date was February 4th, which some may have slipped out at the end of last year, but for the most part, this would be considered a release of this year, and that is the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales. So this is the movie figure based directly on the animated film. This whole wave was great, but this is clearly the best figure of the wave. I mean, they were all great. Gwen was great, Peter was great, Prowler. But
I'm sorry. Are we
just
forgetting
look.
Frogman was in that wave? Like, how dare you?
That's true, but yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
What was the stilt guy? Is it
And
Stilt
Stillman.
Man?
Stillman's
Yeah,
a great.
Stillman.
The Stiltman's the
And the
build a
hand
figure.
ninja.
Hey, the hand
Stole the
ninja.
And the
show.
hand ninja was
Hand
a great
ninja was
figure.
the perfect army builder because he came with
Yeah.
the legs, so you can make Stiltman taller,
Yep.
and he was himself an army
So
builder.
smart.
So, yeah.
So smart. But this
Rare
was
move
my
by
favorite
Hasbro.
figure in the wave, just because it looks so cool. And I may end up saving that Miles head sculpt and putting it on one of the other Spider-Man bodies, but I had to do just all out Spider-Man on this one, like he is towards the end of the movie, and I just love it. I love it. I love Spider-Man. I love different versions of Spider-Man, and this one was one of the coolest.
Yeah, I'm so embarrassed of myself that I forgot that came out this year. But that makes
It's
sense.
a tough one.
Because I was like, did it come out this year?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it didn't. Because initially I grabbed my my Mafex Miles, and I was like, oh. And I'm like, wait, no, did I do that last year? I think I got that at the very beginning, at the very end of last year.
Yeah, I think it was one of those like
list.
last couple weeks of the year releases.
Yeah. So that's why. But then I thought it came out this year. I don't know. So it was like, oh yeah. But another great Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you kind of have it in like the best form. I have it that way as well because my Mafex is like full, like on, like in the suit and the clothes. So it's just great. Great. I also love that stand.
Yeah, this is the Hasbro Pulse stand. These are nice. It came with a Black Widow, and then you could buy them separately. And anytime I see the 3-packs, I buy them because they're great. Because you can do cool things up top, and then have people stand on the actual stand, which is fun. So, yeah, that was my number 5.
Awesome. So speaking of Mafex, a company that kind of has taken over for me this year. If you are a fan of the show or have at least tuned in for weekly purchases, you'll know that my love of Mezco is dwindling because someone actually put out, I think it was Paige who was on Toy Therapy, the last episode of the year before we went on hiatus. He put a list out of like all the releases, and there were like 16 Gomez-esque figures and like less than like I think 11 like normal release figures, like comic release figures. And I'm like, that makes so much sense on why like I've fallen out of love with Mezco, is because they're like the Gomez figures are great because they give you all these cool accessories, but I don't give a shit about their mascot. And all the figures I want are just sitting in delay status indefinitely because of it. So I've just kind of slowly started to fall out of love to the point where I got rid of all of my Mezco Marvel figures, and I have completely moved those over without any hesitation to Mafex, and that's because of figures like this next one. My number 5 goes to the Mafex X-Men Gambit. This figure, absolutely stunning, incredible from every aspect of it. The accessories with all the different effects are great. The only thing about them I don't like is the larger effects are a little heavy, but they give you a little clear like stand with like a fork on it that you can like rest it in to get it into different poses. And it has like different like height extensions too. I do wish he had a grinning head, but regardless, the heads you get look great. The hair, they got that fucking 90s giant swoosh hair of his that looks incredible. The jacket is 100% wired from collar to the tails. Like, it swooned me away from Mezco with zero hesitation, and I cannot wait to have a full team of X-Men, hopefully this time next year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely like, I have Gambit Envy. I didn't put the Marvel Legend on, or
it was Marvel Legends.
Is that? Yeah, it's Marvel Legends. I don't know why my brain just turned off for a second, but it was mainly because packaging was really cool on that, but the figure was like,
yeah,
cool. But yeah, you definitely have the superior Gambit.
Yeah, because even like comparatively to the Mezco ones, if Mezco wasn't, kicking the can on releasing figures people want, this figure just destroys the Mezco one, because the biggest thing you can articulate is ab crunch, because the Mezco one, they made this like real skinny body to fit inside this plastic mold for his like chest armor, and you get like very limited articulation out of it. So he doesn't get a lot of poses, and his ankle articulation is kind of iffy as well. So it just blows it out of the water. And yeah, I'm super excited. X-Men is my favorite Marvel property. So to be able to actually get a decent amount of X-Men in a reasonable amount of time, count me in.
Yeah, you don't have to wait 5 years for it.
Yeah. Considering in the past 5 years, I think we've gotten a whole 4 X-Men characters from Mezco, because we've gotten 2 Cyclops, 3 or 4 Wolverines, 2 or 3 Deadpools, and then 2 Cables.
Magneto.
Oh yeah, we got 2 Magnetos. He's such a terrible figure, I forgot. But yeah, so that's my number 5. Jarmar, move us forward to number 4.
Number four. This one here, I'm just kind of happy that I don't think Michael pays very close attention to this company, so I got to sneak this one by. Because technically it didn't like release, but it was kind of like vaulted, and then it did release this year. So got my Nindo representation on here.
Uh-oh.
All the Nindoroids that I've been buying have obviously been older releases, because they if you miss that window, that's basically it until they do another release for it. And a lot of time these are like anime that I'm like catching up on, and I'm like, oh man, I love this, so where's my representation? Oh fuck, it's $400. So I was really happy to get Tanjiro. Demon Slayer is actually a fairly newer anime, so this one I was just so happy. And beginning of this year, I will for sure have Zenitsu, which is another character of the show. He has not been released. He has not been released this year, or he hasn't been released ever. And I can guarantee you can mark my words, he will be on my top 10 for next year as well. But I don't have to go over it and just gush about how amazing these Nindoroids are. But you have the amazing swappable faces. Even though like he has these weird like wings on his like robe, or his, whatever you want to call it, they do great jobs of like giving you still like forms that you or poses that you want to do. It comes with the amazing water wheel, so if you watch the show, he does his form and does the water wheel flip, and it's just so good. The detailing on Nindoroids are just the best out there. You can argue with me till the day comes in. They do like the best detailing, and they're also fucking adorable, which I mean, you just can't. My light is just ruining this for me. This is my moment. You're ruining this. No, but yeah, I just love these. And actually, I was surprised going over like my list. I'm like, oh, I bought like 4, and then they're all just trying to catch up on things that I missed out on. So
I just want to point out that I did say you could have kept Kratos. You just had to specify he was a reissue.
Yeah, but then I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna give a little bit more representation, because all of mine were re-releases. Well, technically, Kratos wasn't a re-release. I just finally bought it. That's why I was like, I'm not gonna argue with you, because I'm putting Tanjiro on there, because
I had to look, because I looked it up and it said he was re-released in like March or something this year.
Unless I missed it, I bought mine on eBay.
Oh.
Like I bought it because he came out like 2018, like when they
because that was originally came out 2018.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, sir, you're not gonna get one passed on me. And then I went and I looked at him like, oh, okay, so he did re-release at some point this year. At the Coast War, it said like March or May or something like that. But I could be wrong. I mean, it was the internet. The internet lies to me all the time. So,
I mean, the thing with Nindos is they are doing a great job of releasing figures that just people miss, but for more money now, of course. Oh, yeah. But there's so many that the release just gets swept up and everything. So I also had some other ones that I would have for sure replaced Tanjiro with. I'm sorry, I love Demon Slayer, but just never shipped. Just still waiting on the pre-order list. So
I mean, you will be proud. I have 2 Nindos pre-ordered for next year.
Gotta get the numbers up. Did I ever see you that one, Nate, of the He-Man? Well, I'm sure you.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I saw those and like, oh my god.
Yeah. If they were gonna get me, that probably would have been it.
Yeah, I pre-ordered 2 of the 3 Among Us ones today because they just went up on AmiAmi. Which, for the record, if you are ever going to pre-order something that's an import figure, Ami Ami is the way to go because it's just like Big Bad. You don't have to pay until it comes out, but you get it at least a month earlier.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna switch over to that because the one that I was using, I paid for it up front for my Levi from Attack on Titan, and then my UG from
yeah. The only thing is you have to be careful.
Really
make sure it's figures you 100% plan to get because if you cancel too many figures, they will block your IP.
Oh no, I have no problem with that.
I discovered that this week because someone with Mafex Facebook groups was like, is there something going on with Ami Ami? I can't pre-order anything. And then everyone commented like, bro, how many things did you not pay for? Or did you cancel? And everyone's like, what? And you're like, oh yeah, they'll block you if you don't actually pay for your shit after pre-order because they don't play around. I'm like,
I mean, that's
all right,
fair.
that's fair. I'm like, great, everything I'm pre-ordering is gonna be Mafex stuff that I plan on getting. So like, I'll make it happen.
I was trying to pull up that the website that I ordered from. It was actually recommended from like the subreddit for Nindords, but I just wanted to shit on them because these figures were released in September and I still have not received them. So
I know it's Festivus, but we don't have to do the airing of grievances.
No, I just wanted to put on my Grant chat for a second and be pissed off about that. But it's a holiday, so I do have Tanjiro, so I'm not going to talk.
All right, so my number 4 is this is a little bit of a cheat. Now we're getting into the cheat area. So this is my pick for Star Wars: The Vintage Collection.
Oh,
so
okay. I thought maybe you pulled one over on me with fucking release dates too. And I was like, God damn it! Do I have to really fucking keep you guys in check? Like,
no, this is my own rule. But I actually have 2 of these. I couldn't find my loose one, so I just have my carded one here. So this is the Vintage Collection Return of the Jedi version of Boba Fett. And for those who are uninitiated, he does look different in Return of the Jedi than he does in Empire Strikes Back. Very subtly, just ever so slightly.
Isn't it just like some of the colors are like brighter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. But the thing is, this figure is like one of probably the best 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures that have come out over the last few years. It is just so great. The articulation is great. The look is amazing. In fact, we got this Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, and we also got the Deluxe Black Series Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, and this one is much better than the Black Series one, which is weird. And it looks to be that way for the Book of Boba Fett as well. The Vintage Collection one looks already better, but I'm showing the carded one. It's not because it's carded that it's so great. That's fine. It's cool. I have a collection of Return of the Jedi ones that are carded. If I was going to pick a carded one, it would have been that recent droid C-3PO. But the figure inside is actually just only so-so. Mm-hmm. That's the card. This figure itself is absolutely incredible. So if you've been kind of wavering or just wanted a really great classic style Boba Fett, this is the way to go. This is the best.
Awesome. Yeah. And that raises the question. They recently started putting up pre-orders for the reissue for the Mafex one. Are you gonna get that?
I don't know. I thought about that. At one time I had the figure arts Boba Fett, but I don't have it anymore. So I'm like, you know what? I really don't need multiple versions. I need to stick with just Hasbro probably. But I did think about it, and that was cool because I have seen that one. The Return of the Jedi one, and it was going for like over $200. So it's awesome that they're bringing them back out.
Yeah, because I pre-ordered the Return of the Jedi one just because I'm like, okay, I'll bite and just to see what it's like.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, it's a dangerous hole to go down, much like Black Series.
Yeah, but if you're gonna get one, like that's a great one.
That's
to
the
get.
one.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm holding out for old man Boba Fett, but for whatever reason, even the figure arts one, you can't pre-order it in the States.
Oh.
Yeah, because they announced it, I feel like forever ago, and it went up on some of the import sites and sold out instantly, and it never went up on Big Bad, and it never went up on Entertainment Earth, so I don't know if maybe it's in some sort of limbo or something, or if maybe I hallucinated the entire thing, but I could have swore there was a figure arts one that got announced. But yeah, I didn't know that this one was like a better figure than the Black Series one. That's kind of surprising considering, the height difference.
Yeah.
It's so much
smaller
smaller
to
to fit all that.
detailing.
Yep. Yeah, it's better, which is weird because I only collect certain 3 3/4 inch figures. I don't have a lot, so I was a little bummed because I do have mostly a lot of Black Series, and for that, it's fine. It's a good Boba Fett, but this one's better.
Well, that's good.
That's
At least
shocking.
he'll be able to hang out on the Razor Crest
Exactly.
with Mando, so it all
Hmm.
works out in the
Hmm.
end.
Either that or he'll end up on the barge. Is
Oh
probably where
yeah,
he'll
that
be.
makes a lot more sense than my idea. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. I still can't wait to see like you get everything set up, because I assume you're still
Yeah.
working through that process. He's shaking his head yes for the audio listeners. Um, so my number 4 is continuing my new love affair with Moff X, and this one it literally just squeaked in before the finish line, and as mostly just for people who were smart enough to pre-order it from places like AmiAmi, and that is the Moff X brown suit Wolverine. This figure absolutely incredible. The only thing I think I find a little weird about it is just the fact that they do things like that, because they have the Tiger Stripe Wolverine out, and they actually have 3 completely different head sculpts for this Wolverine compared to the other Wolverine, which I love and hate. I love it because it's like, oh, that's great, but I hate it because now it's like, oh, but I kind of would have wanted one of those other head sculpts for this one. So it's just kind of like that, like weird, like, oh, that's I don't know how to feel about that, and you can't mix and match them because it's a different shade of yellow, and even skin shade. Like the Tiger Stripe one's like fucking ghost pale, so I'm kind of hoping that he gets a reissue or an update. But this figure, incredible. I love that he has the curved claws. I love the fact that he comes with like the folded down mask, so you can have the unmasked head screaming. He's got the smirking face, which I feel like is that just reminds me of that classic like cover and everything. So the fact that this showed up on Christmas Eve, I'm like, Merry Christmas to me from me. Thank you, AmiAmi and Mafex. So it was a great way to like kind of end the year on a high note for figures, because it like with so many figures getting delayed constantly between everything that happened in 2020 and just the in general delays that we would have experienced prior. It feels like you just aren't able to get as many of these out as you used to, and I was just so excited to be able to for this just randomly be like, hey, it's time for you to pay for your shit, and I'm like, okay, please, yeah, let's take all my money. Um, so yeah, Mafex, 100%. I feel like that's gonna take over my collection come this time next year.
I love the brown suited
Yeah.
Wolverine. That's always been my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I prefer the aesthetic of the Tiger Stripe, but this is still a close second. I mean, this is the only figure I actually have on my desk because he just came
Yeah, I
in,
was gonna
so
say,
I've been
know you
playing
have
with
it.
him for the past 2 days. So yeah, he's the only figure I actually have on hand right now, because the rest are either on the shelves or scattered throughout all the review and photo stations.
So I wanted to pull the figure up again because you mentioned the smirk face, and I was like, oh, but also just the photo you used and the drive. I had it close because I didn't want to spoil it. I felt like I was spoiling everything for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that it shows the back. You know how jacked his back
Right?
is,
They're like,
but
look
then
at
it
that.
shows his little buns. It's like, look at his little booty. It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, man,
But
gotta
it's
get that Canadian
badass
booty in
figure.
there.
Badass, man. Badass.
All right, Jamar, we are down to the wire. Let's hit us with your number 3.
All right. I probably should ask you earlier. Do you want me to just jump right into it
I mean, yeah, if you
instead
want to
of me
be
like
like
waiting
Nate,
for you to?
yeah, if
I
you
was
want
just
to be like
waiting for
Nate
you to
and
like.
be preemptive about it, that'd be great, because it's real awkward to have to stop in the middle of everything and be
Yeah.
like, all right, Jamar, it's your turn.
I was just like, okay, you're hosting, so I was waiting for you to say it. But anyways, all right. It's of course another NECA figure because this year was the return of all of my Toon figures that I really like, and this is another one that in any edition that the Turtles come out as a toy line, I always buy, and this one just happened to be really really fucking awesome, and it's Mutagen Man. If I would have told you, if man, what is up, camera focus? All right, I'll just hold him back here. If you would have asked me like, what is my favorite Mutagen Man, it would have been from the 2012 series with the Playmate one. Surprising because it just how weird it looked, and he had like it almost kind of looked like a Modoc in a way,
Mm-hmm.
like how he was in a barrel or whatnot, anything. But this here, the only thing that I think could have made it this figure better, and it doesn't make any sense to have it, but if it was like glow in the dark, so like the green, like his, I guess intestines or whatever is gook down there. If that glue in the dark, I would be like, oh my god, this is my favorite NECA figure of all time, in joking manner, of course. But the Mutagen Man is just always so great, and I thought they did a really, really good job with this one, even down to like the face swaps, the popping it out with different expressions, and it's so good. I couldn't believe it. I was not gonna have this at all remotely close on my list, and then I received it, and I was like, "Oh, that looks cool." I opened it up and was like, "Oh my god!" I probably should have paid more attention to this when I ordered it. I would have been more excited. But I just saw Mutagen Man with Ace Duck. I was like, "All right, I'll buy it."
We ordered them back in April because I got
yeah.
mine this last couple of weeks, and I looked and I was like, "Oh my god, this was forever ago."
Yeah, that's another thing that pisses me off, that we ordered it so long ago, and then they fulfilled other things before this came out, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Well, I think these ones were more made to order in addition to what was going to be at Target, because I'm guessing that these are still going to Target, or but you know, because I got my Pizza Monster this week too, and then Antrax and the other one comes sometime next year, and then Scumbug, and so I just assumed that there was something like that. That's why they were so late. But I was glad to get them. They're great. My number 3 is actually a slight cheat as well for me, because it is my second NECA on the list. But I felt like Turtles needed its own spot. We talk about Turtles a lot. So I put my own Turtle in there. So this goes right off of yours. My favorite NECA Turtle set of the year. Not too old now. And I hate to do this for anybody who maybe didn't get it or passed up on it. I love it so much, and that is the Channel 6 set.
What is it? Okay.
Yeah, this thing, not only did you get 2 completely new figures with Vern and Irma, but you got a different Vernon, which you can actually, I'm going to keep this one as a human. I'm going to turn my other one into the rat. And but he comes with his boom mic and a bag. You've got Irma. You've got the cat woman, April O'Neil. But then I love the accessories in this. The cameras. I didn't show these off when I did Wednesday night purchases every Wednesday, 10 Central or 10 Eastern time on Twitch, twitch.com/modern something. Yeah. .tv. Look,
I give you credit. You pimp out a show that isn't even yours to really have to pimp out. You just expect it to show up. So I'm happy either way.
So these are incredible. I mean, if nothing else, I mean, I don't know. They're just awesome as little cameras.
I'm just saying, use those with Jon Favreau and some Mandos.
Yeah. I mean, they even have the plug.
Like the outlet.
Like you can have like a little toy outlet and plug them in. They also have the lights. So those are fully articulated. You can move those around. It's a lot of fun. Even the box, you can kind of mess with the backdrop in there. But just, I mean, they always do a great job in the cartoon sets of including some interesting accessories. So for instance, like you get a picture of Burns' girlfriend. You also get, Irma's got a picture of what is supposedly, I guess, an attractive guy. There's like a little mouse. There's a little wind-up mouse. There's a bowl of green goop. There's a spoon. There's a headset. I mean, it's just all kinds of fun stuff that you get in these sets. And this one was just so much fun. I understand why it was an exclusive and why it wasn't a regular release, just because, you know, not a lot of people are going to want Burn. Yeah. I get it. And, you know, so, but this was Ninja Turtles, the cartoon for me. And because I missed out on getting these characters late in the Playmates line. I remember when they came out, but I was only just kind of paying attention. I wasn't buying them. But I was like, oh, that's cool. They made those finally. So now I have them.
Yeah. That's still, could we put that in biggest regret? I thought that we were getting more of a release. So I was like, oh, well, I couldn't get it online. Like, I couldn't fight the bots, you know, whatever. But I thought, were they supposed to not be coming to Target at some point?
I think they are.
Yeah, they are. They were originally supposed to hit Target in the fall, early winter, but I think they got delayed. So probably beginning next year. I don't know. They haven't really said anything, because they originally said when the pre-orders went up that like you can pre-order it now, but it will still be available at Target in the near future. And that turned into fall, and that turned into winter, and then here we are. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm just now starting to see the Flash Gordon exclusives hit Target stores. So I'm thinking that hopefully soon we'll see it
Yeah, my
afterwards.
guess is January, February. They would almost have to
That definitely
because once
sounds
you get
about
to a certain point, if they're not already on a boat on their way, then it's going to not be till like summer.
right.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for you so that way you can tell me no again. Moving on to my number 3. This one I know is probably on a lot of people's lists, and it also was another one that kind of just showed up unexpectedly at the tail end of the year, and that is the Super 7 Donatello. Oh man, we've been waiting to get that fourth turtle for so long, and to finally have him, he's sitting with his brothers, just waiting for me to break out some wraps to get him fit in for that. Yet another line that have is substitute IDW toys because
One
everyone's
day.
too fucking afraid to give them to us. Um, but yeah, great figure. Obviously popped that Playmate's head off right away and put on that really cool like modern head. That like I said earlier in the show, his review is going to be going up here soon, so keep an eye out for that. And I know Jarmar is probably as much in love with this figure as I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go right into number 2 on the list for me. Obvious reasons, Donatello is my favorite Ninja Turtle. I was a little salty we had to wait so long to finally get him, so
Best for
I
last.
will
Best for
take
last.
it. Yeah, best for last. Best for last. Yeah, again, getting my Playmate figures again. I'll actually show it because I have it, even though my lighting is shit. So if I put it too close, it disappears. But I just absolutely love this. Oddly enough, I do like both heads in this one. I like
Really?
the Playmates, updated version, and then I like the new modern one as well. But I love these figures. I love them so much. So thank you, Playmates, for making these or letting Super 7 make these because you guys suck. Thank you for doing it because you guys suck. Because apparently you guys are busy re-releasing the same thing over and over and over and over. Yeah, but I'll take it. But yeah, that's an easy way to go into my number 2.
Yeah,
As a good
Yeah.
I
back to
thought that
back.
was
So what
funny.
is my number 1?
Oh, we'll find out here in a minute because I think it's an Ace turn.
Yeah. So my number 2, and you may have noticed there's been a conspicuous, I don't know. There's been
Suspicious. No.
there's been an absence of properties,
Oh, okay.
stuff that have especially taken on a more of a stronger foothold in my collection this
Oh.
year, and that would be
Oh.
Transformers. And with that, I am just an absolute just whore for the movie. Anything that has to do with the movie, I'm all about. And it would have been this, which is the War for Cybertron Kingdom Galvatron, which is in his movie accurate or cartoon accurate mode. However, shortly before we decided to compile this list, I received the what is called Generation Selects. Sometimes they'll throw out these oddball versions of characters under this Generation Selects banner. And so that is where my number 2 comes in, which is the Generation Selects Galvatron. And the difference with this thing is so if you see the other one, this is his movie and cartoon accurate colors. This is an homage to the original toy. So the original toy, when it came out in 1986, was actually gray and purple instead of just a lot of purple. And so the other thing I absolutely love about this is that it came with decals. So I don't know if you can see how many different decals are on here, but there is a ton of decals, and they were a massive pain in the ass to apply. Okay,
Yeah, I would have hated every
these
second of
are
that.
all decals. This is a
Ooh.
decal. On his head is a decal. This job. If you can really see, like, I really had to line it up
Oh yeah,
just right.
that does
It
suck.
is. It was a nightmare, but I will tell you, once it was all said and done, it took me like 2 hours. Um, I just looked at this and I went, man, this thing looks amazing. And this is my absolute favorite Transformer that they released this year. This is like a jewel in my collection. I love it. I don't know. I don't even really know what else to say about it. It's awesome. I love the detail. I love the colors. And I wish more of them came with decals, even though they're a huge pain in the ass. They really do add something to the overall look to it. And I transformed him and I played with him and then I put his stickers and then I went, okay, now we're done. I'm not going to transform him again. So, but yeah,
badass.
yeah. So I don't get a lot of the generation selects, only when they really appeal to me, because a lot of them are just repaints. Well, all of them are really just repaints. It just depends on what they're a repaint of. Sometimes they're like a Japanese exclusive or a comic exclusive, or in this case, like an old toy homage. So, or homage. Sorry, I put the H in there.
Homage.
Homage. It sounds like cheese.
So I'm not gonna lie, when you like brought out the first one, I'm like, shit, did he change his number two and not tell me? It took me a minute. Yeah, I would not have the patience to put all those decals on. Oh my god, I could not imagine that. That had to be rough.
It was rough.
Did you use tweezers? You have like little needle nose tweezer. Okay, I had to like.
Yes, you absolutely have to. And it was funny because former co-host of Figuratively Speaking, I was talking to Corey about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my decals didn't stick," and I'm like, "He's like, well, the decals don't stick," and I'm like,
"Bitch, they might."
Oh no. Because well, what happened? Like the first time I peeled one off, and like I tried to put it on there, and it just fell right off because the paper came with it, and that was also a huge pain in the dick too, because you'd have to like take the tweezers and kind of like jab at it to get that little piece of paper off. Because these things were tiny, but yeah, they do stick. You just have to get the foil backing in order to stick them. So yeah,
I mean,
it's up in the crown. I mean, this is all
that's crazy.
Yeah, even the Decepticon logo on the chest. I had to put it over a tampoed Decepticon symbol, so that was already frustrating just to line it up exact so it's a little shinier with that foil.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah,
that's dedication right there.
Yep. I don't know that I would have done it if it was anybody else but Galvatron, at least in one sitting, but it was well worth it once I was done.
I also just want to point out that he's going to make Marvel's The Hood very envious of that dildo cannon.
Oh, it's huge. It's massive.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Poor Megatron.
See, I can have them fight with their.
Oh, look at that.
Oh God. Now I have to put a fucking Brazers logo over the segment. So my number 2 returns back to Mofex with another figure that kind of just skated by, showing up at the very end of the year, and that is the Dark Knight Returns Batman Blue version and Robin 2-pack. Holy shit! Like, my love affair with Dark Knight Returns is already pretty strong, but then this 2-pack came out and I'm like, oh, I love it. I love that we finally got a like really well done Robin, especially Carrie Kelly, to go with that Dark Knight Returns Batman. While I'm not a huge fan of like the bright blue and gray and the yellow and black emblem and stuff, it's still a great figure. I'll probably put her more with my black and gray or with my Triumphant Battle Damaged Batman. But I'm going to have to buy a second set solely because I want another one of the Robins, because she could be used, pop the head off, put a tiny Dick Grayson head on there, and boom, you've got a early days Dick Grayson, and you can't tell the difference. Like, people have already been doing it, and I'm like, shit, now I'm going to have to. It's just a matter of finding a head that's going to fit and not look like it's too big.
It's one I forgot all about this. I remember we talked about this on Modern Toy Fair, and Modern Toy Fair News, I should clarify.
Yes.
R.I.P. But no, I completely forgot that this even came out, and I really wish you would have had it in person. I want to see it.
I mean, if you give me like 5 seconds, I'll grab it. It's literally sitting in the Muppets kitchen from when I was taking pictures for the review, which you can watch currently over on the channel.
I was like, you doing your reviews in the kitchen, and then I realized he said Muppets kitchen, which, what is Batman doing?
I mean, they're just having a little break from fighting crime.
I guess you got to watch the review to figure that out.
Watch the view, because they're just taking a break from beating up bad guys. So here is Carrie Kelly.
The slingshot.
The slingshot and everything. She even has a set of hands that are solely to like pinch the little edge to hold it back.
That's so cool.
She's got the little pixie boots.
And that's
the cape.
That's posable. It,
Oh, yeah,
for some
100%
reason,
posable.
the reflectivity kind of looked like plastic for a second, but
Yeah,
that's
no,
cool.
it's 100%
That is
posable.
so cool.
Batman, now, he currently just has the unmasked head on because since they were in the kitchen, he had no reason to...
Cover his identity.
Field his identity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, got big, beefy Batman.
I
All
love it.
those lovely wrinkles, and then that Bruce Wayne
I
head,
love
which
it.
I'm so happy that they include a Bruce Wayne head because the other one we got was the like beat up one with like the swollen black eye and stuff from the Triumph like battle damaged one. So to get like a normal one is kind of a nice change of pace too. He also has the folded down mask, if you can see it there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
With
that's
the-
another thing. Since I have to get two for another Carrie Kelly, it's great because then I can take this, paint it black, and use it for the other black and gray Batman. So, kind of works out in the end. But
That's really cool.
yeah, those showed up, God, about a week ago. So I was super excited because I love me some Dark Knight Returns and I love me some Robin. So it was just a double whammy.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Great.
And that's not your number one?
It's not my
Yeah.
number one.
That's surprising.
Wow. Yeah, me
But I was
too.
also surprised that I completely didn't realize that came out at all. So my number one, I'd say it's a bit of a controversial pick, partly because if you watch the previous previous top 10, or I guess it was technically top 5,
Oh yeah.
you made some valid points, but Michael, you can still go fuck yourself because my number one is, I don't even have it unboxed, so I'm gonna move this away so I have to talk much louder. But it is the Disguised Turtles in all their lovely glory. It's probably really hard to hear me, so I'm talking really loud. These figures are just these are just, NECA just completely made me, I don't want to be too raunchy, but they made my pants wet. So
I mean,
I
I
took
talked
off-
about figures make me hard earlier, so I think we're past
yeah,
that
but
point.
it went straight. I went straight from
Oh, okay.
soft to wet. I don't even know. I've never happened in my life. I promise you, it'll be better next time. These here, like I took them out because one, obviously they're just kind of like updated versions of the Toon Turtles that we sort of received already. So I took the trench coats off of these and put them on the first ones because the first ones wasn't that expressive, wasn't that cool. These ones here with the cool new like face, or I guess mouth swap, all of the accessories, all the different kind of pizzas. I know this just set was just so good. And even though that, I think that is probably like the biggest reason of why they're number one on my list, is even if how much of a heartbreak it was to finally get these, or the heartbreak was the actual journey of getting these, getting them supersedes everything, just hands down. I'm looking at them and they're not in frame, but there's nothing else that I can say about these. These are probably my favorite. I absolutely adored the 4-pack of the Tour Turtles, because licensing reasons. But those just didn't really. Those were more because I can't believe these exist. These are like my favorite turtles, just flat out. And these are my favorite. And of course, keep knocking out of the park with the packaging, NECA. This is completely unnecessary to have something so cool, but they just do. They do what they do, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So that is my number one for the Festivus.
Festivus.
Festival. You keep spelling festival wrong, man.
The only reason it's not my list is because I chose the Channel 6 set because they're great. I love them. I have no. Yeah. I have nothing. No,
yeah. You brought up really good points, but
he did. But to go along then, to go to my number one is also a NECA. A NECA, like that's now I guess that's like a noun, like a NECA.
I mean, isn't that what people like? Some people do with pops. They're like, I've got a Funko.
I got a Funko, but is it NECA short for, or an abbreviation, or not abbreviation?
I mean, yeah, it's like National Entertainment something
Collectibles. Yeah.
Acronym. That's what I meant to say. Acronym.
So much like you, this appeals to my very foundation of why I'm a toy collector now. I was a toy collector obviously as a kid, and what really got me back into it was like McFarlane, the Spawn stuff, and then more specifically the movie Maniacs. And so this year, it probably should have been on last year's list if it had actually been released like it was originally supposed to be, but it was oft delayed. But that is the Friday the 13th Part 7,
Oh man.
A New Blood Jason. So this is, not only is this my favorite version of Jason as it is, not my favorite movie. The movie itself is, but the look of Jason in this movie is just absolutely awesome. You got all the damage that he's taken from, all the other movies kind of compounded onto one. He's all gross and rotting away. You can see his like back rib cage. You can see his teeth through
So cool.
the broken mask. He's got a fucking buzz saw here. He comes with like every major instrument of death that he uses in this movie. Although one minor complaint, he does not come with a sleeping bag, which is the most famous kill from the entire movie. But I don't know how you do that unless it was an accessory pack, because you have to have somebody in that. But then as well, it came with an alternate head that you could put the broken mask on. Because if you are unfamiliar, he fights against a telekinetic girl, and like she like does stuff to him, and then it breaks apart the mask while it's on his face. And it's just so cool. So this had to be my number one. I love this. This is probably the best Jason they've done. It looks the best. And for me, because I, collected other brands as well, NECA really only needs to give me one more Jason, and that's the Jason Takes Manhattan. Because I have Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X through other companies, but I would be more than happy to upgrade those through NECA. I'm just amazed that we got this one with all the legal issues that have been surrounding Friday the 13th. The fact that they were able to get this out was massive. And I can only hope that they can work their magic and get us a Part 8 as well. So that's my favorite figure of 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super shocked this came out because to my knowledge, I don't think they've settled, like, or not NECA specifically, but the Friday 13th lawsuit. I don't think it's settled with the writers or anything yet. I haven't heard any updates, so who knows?
Just like, put it out, guys.
They're like, yeah, put it out, and what happens. Like,
yeah.
Like, fuck it. Like, if we get sued, we get sued. Not much we can do at this point.
Yep.
We've already spent the money on it. They'll just have to use all those profits to pay their lawsuit bills. So yeah, great choice. They always kind of kill it with those Friday the 13th figures. My number one is going to be pretty shocking to some people, but not a lot. And that's just because it had a lot of controversy around it as well. This figure came out after like a year or so of people paying for it. And it had some QC issues that ended up being mildly easy fixes, but they were only temporary fixes in theory, and a lot of people were pissed off about it, and Hasbro did not do a fucking goddamn thing in regards to it, which is kind of unfortunate, but I lucked out, and my lovely co-host there at the bottom, Nate, hooked me up after mine unfortunately got canceled because they sent me an email because my card expired and I didn't see it until it was already too late. But that is the Marvel Legends HasLab Sentinel. This is how much of a mark I am for X-Men, that this figure, this is the holy grail X-Men figure for me. Like, the only thing they could do to top this is to give me an X-Jet that is to scale and can fit like 10 figures in it. Like, fucking do it, cowards.
$1,200.
Fucking do it. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. I'll sell every Mezco I have to have an X-Jet. Watch me. Yeah, 1,000% I would buy a giant X-Jet and it would fucking hang above me, vicariously waiting to kill me one day while we're doing weekly purchases. I don't care.
If it was a drone, that would be dope.
That'd kill it for me.
No, I mean, you could fly it if you want. If not, you just display it.
But here's the thing, though. To make it a drone, they'd have to aesthetically change it because they'd have to have a way to put the
hollow.
Yeah, they'd have to do. They wouldn't be able to make it what I want it to be.
Okay, I just thought you wanted to put them
No, I just want a fucking badass X-Jet figure. It can be fucking hanging from the ceiling. It can be parked behind me. I don't give a shit. I just want it. Do it, you cowards. But I love the Sentinel. As you can see, it's on display behind me.
Yeah.
It's fucking got Cyclops, wrapped in his tentacle. So the fact that I was able to get this, I was so happy. Thank you so much, Nate, for hooking me up with it.
You got it.
Yeah, that was pretty much the highlight of my year, was that came out and I was able to get one, and I have played more with that than any other figure I've gotten all year. I played more with that than I have myself.
Wow.
That's what I thought you were going. I was gonna say, man, that is November.
I could tell that's where Jarmar took it. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. Seth, that is my figure of the year.
Yeah, I'm assuming outside of like the release window, the Mafex, is that what got you to kind of go more Mafex because it's better scale, or?
Yes and no. The biggest thing that got me to go more Mafex was just that there was a bigger selection of figures and they were coming out more often, because Mezco hasn't even announced any other like new characters for X-Men, because they're re-releasing a better version of Wolverine, and we've got Bishop, who's just kind of floating around in the void. So the fact that Mafex already had a Wolverine, already had Deadpool, already had Cyclops, they had a Magneto that I was able to easily change from Age of Apocalypse to a normal Magneto. They have announced a Jean Grey. So like they're seemed like they're rolling them out pretty often. So I was like, okay, so I don't want to do Marvel Legends just because they're not bad figures by any means, they're just not for me. So like if I was gonna go high end, I was like, Mafex is doing a better job. They're better articulated. They look better, and they're a little tinier scale, so they also scale better with the Sentinel. So I'm like, fuck it. That's
match made in heaven.
Yeah, it was just kind of perfect, and it's gonna be interesting to see if they do next jet, because oh baby, you want to talk about you going from soft to wet? Oh, I'll fucking ruin some pants.
I'm wearing a onesie. If I go from soft to wet, I'm in trouble.
It's gonna take you a while to get out of it, to get dry.
Down the legs.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's really.
Oh man, why is it squish when I walk? Oh god, if you are unfortunately still watching at this point, thank you so much. But that is gonna be it for the Modern Toy Fair Top 10 Festivus Special 2021. Please make sure to subscribe for more weekly toy-related content, including the Modern Toy Fair podcast, where three of us get together and just kind of talk about toy-related stuff that's happened in the past like week or two. Then you've got all the action figure reviews that I do, plus we have Toy Therapy, where we interview people in the toy community and find out what makes them tick with their collections. We will be doing some new stuff hopefully this year as well, to kind of just add to the variety. So if you don't want to be pigeonholed into those three categories, we will have more for you. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to go over and follow us on social media with Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Modern Toy Fair. Jamar, let everybody know about all your Twitch endeavors.
Oh, I have to do this now?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So it's the last one of the year.
Follow me on twitch.tv/Jamar Games. Is it _games? I don't know. I haven't streamed in a very long time, but I will be doing a better job of it, because I just want to have some kind of fun outlet. I don't know if the podcast will be making its resurrection out of the ground, but we'll see. Maybe not. But if you want to look at old episodes or listen to the old episodes, maybe you might be able to find them on any podcast platform of choice, as long as they haven't been taken down. You're going to go to YouTube in the near future and listen to all those episodes as well. Thank you to Michael. Also, I just realized the show that I was thinking of was Jujutsu Kaisen. So there.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
What I meant, I was listing off the Nindoroids and I couldn't remember.
Okay, I was
from,
so
and it
confused.
just dawned on me that
I was just like, is that the show that's gonna get canceled? I'm confused.
No.
Yeah, so yeah, go check out Jarmar. Maybe if you follow him on Twitch, he'll come back sooner.
Give me that motivation.
Yeah, give him that motivation. Also, maybe if you go and subscribe to his YouTube channel, he'll be motivated to bring Why Are You a Gamer back. Who knows?
Maybe I don't know the password.
Oh, fucking Christ!
I'm joking.
Anyway, Nate, is there anything you'd like to plug for the end of the year?
No, not yet.
Okay. Not even no kayfabe podcast this time around.
What now?
What happened to Tickle Me
Oh,
Tuesdays
no.
and all the
Tickle Me
prostate Fridays?
I mean,
Prostate Fridays.
I don't know if that was one of them, but yeah.
Tickle Me Prostate was one. I don't know.
Tickle Me Prostate. Yeah. It's a pirate themed health show. Tickle Me Prostate. No, but we will be launching. We will be launching a new show in the new year, From Hard to Wet. It's going to be an all-encompassing show around what gets you there. What gets you from hard to wet.
You're just gonna interview random people on the street and ask them what gets them there.
Yeah, what gets you from hard to wet?
When you said hard to wet, I was like, oh, what's this channel? Oh,
yeah, right. You almost got me too. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know he was doing that. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
No, I have nothing to plug. I have nothing currently to plug.
All right, except for your prostate. Don't forget.
I don't think you should plug that.
No.
Well, I have to assume that if you're getting it checked,
it's
temporarily getting plugged.
Well,
we'll teach you some anatomy things later.
Yeah,
Let me show you where the prostate's located.
Man, I know fractions, you know anatomy. There we go.
What's getting plugged is not your actual prostate.
Yeah, but like it's still.
That's actually more of arousal for your prostate. Too,
yeah.
So I don't know. We should probably end this show before.
Yeah. So don't forget that you can, if you don't like staring at our beautiful faces, you can listen to the audio-only versions of Modern Toy Fair and Toy Therapy, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast apps you know and love. So check that out, and hopefully we'll see you next year. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.
I have heard that massaging the prostate will get you from hard to wet. So.
Oh, there you go. That's the show. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's. Oh, God.